we are going to talk about unlocking our potential. So the idea is how to harness inner strength so that we can overcome obstacles. And I'm using this interactive tool, the Mentimeter. And to interact with me, you can use these instructions. You can go to, if you have a separate device like a cell phone, you go to menti.com and then you enter this code. And then you can answer the questions and participate in the presentation. And there is also a link that you can click on it directly.
I put both of them in the chat too, Dada.
Oh, okay, you put the link also, very good. Okay, so now let's go to the presentation itself. And I will start with a question. This is just like a warm-up question, okay? So the question is, when you are facing an obstacle, how do you react? And that's a word cloud. It means you use, to answer this question, just one or two words. So what happens, like in your life comes an obstacle? What is your immediate reaction, or how do you feel at that moment that, okay, now this situation has come? So make an effort to come up with a word that would describe your mental attitude at that moment. Okay, we got the first one. Okay, I'm giving you some moments to put your thoughts out there. Okay, we have some good answers, so let's look at that. We have compartmentalize, overwhelmed at first, surrender, avoiding, afraid, tension, deal with it, uneasy, find a solution, breathe, try harder, and then again, tension or anxious. Yeah, okay, thanks. So what happens in our life is that there will always be some obstacle. As long as we exist, there will always be some obstacle in one way or another. And we cannot really avoid that obstacles will come. They will certainly come. What we can change is the way we feel when they come. So that's within our choice. We can choose how we react when an obstacle comes in our life. So how to take control of the situation? You cannot change the situation because sometimes it's something that is much bigger, but we can change the way we react to it, so the way we face it. And here in your answers, there are some like you feel immediately anxious, you feel immediately afraid. And but others are thinking, okay, I will find a solution. I will, let's say, deal with it. I will just pause and breathe so that I can get ready for it. So you see, there are different ways that we can react. So what I want to call attention to is the fact that there are things that we as individuals can have some control, and there are others that we cannot. So if we concentrate on what we can have control, or where we can act, or where we can exert our will, or our, let's say, we can control ourselves. If we concentrate on that part, then we have a better start, like a better starting point when the obstacles come. So now let's move ahead in our presentation here. Here I have a statement that I would like you to answer. Either you agree or you don't agree, or maybe. And the statement is that obstacles are friends because they help me. So that's the statement. Now, do you agree? Or I don't agree, or maybe? Let's see what most of you think. I'll give you some moments for that. Okay, so here, the tendency from the responses that we got so far is that most of you are on the I agree side, and one or a small percentage is on the maybe. That gives me the message that our group is a quite, let's say, well-prepared, positive group, and optimistic. And that you, when you see difficulties, you are understanding that those difficulties are coming for a reason, and they will be eventually helpful to us. I want to call attention to one point, though, and the point is this, that theoretically or philosophically, it is easy for us to understand or to take the philosophy as something true. For example, in this case, obstacles are friends because they help me. So I feel that, yes, I agree with that. That's correct. And in the philosophy also says the same. Philosophy also says that obstacles are friends. The difficulty comes in the practice. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when it does happen in our life that we face a very strong obstacle, or a very, let's say, big obstacle, we have a hard time. So that is like the practice, you know. So theoretically or philosophically, I agree, yes, of course, obstacles will be helpful. They will help me in my life because they make me stronger. But when it comes the real practical moment that the obstacle came in our life, at that moment, we have some difficulties. So when philosophy happens in our life, that's a hard moment. But when we are studying it or when we are discussing it, we agree and we think, yes, that's right. So the thing is, how to bridge that gap? How to make it in such a way that both we agree with the philosophy in the moments that we are studying or discussing or talking about it, and at the same time, when the things happen, we also face it in that positive way, without feeling overwhelmed, without getting the anxiety, and without panicking. Okay, so let's move on. I put one more question, so it will be like 3 warm-up questions, all right? So the third one is an open-ended question, so you can write whatever comes to your mind. And the question is, what can prepare you best to face obstacles in your life? Like, in your opinion, what's the best thing you can do that can prepare you for any obstacle that may come in your life? So let's see what would be your opinion in this one. Okay, some questions, some answers are already coming. Okay. All right, so we have already got 8 answers here. The first one, sadhana and devotion, then meditation, meditation, and meditation breathing experience. These are similar, okay? So it's more about the internal practice of meditation. Breathe, deep reflection. Take a step back and realize you have the necessary tools to deal and overcome it. And the last one we have here, consciousness. So let's say that the majority has answered meditation, even deep reflection, we can say is meditation. All right, so let me now go to the presentation. So we are looking for inner strength, because something happens in the life, we need to have a mind ready to face it. So we need inner strength. So is something inner. Our main preparation should be an inner preparation. So that's why I put meditation as number 1. And in the answers to the question, you also expressed, most of you expressed that meditation is the practice to do. One thing about meditation is that meditation doesn't happen immediately. It's not like something immediately you get a result. You know, I relate to you one experience. I used to live in New York City, and we used to offer meditation and yoga classes. One day, I think it was like a Saturday, one person called. By the voice, I understood it's a young person. So this person asked me if we have yoga and meditation classes. I said yes. And then she asked, do you have a class tomorrow, Sunday? I said, no, we don't have classes on Sunday. We have classes during the week. And then she said, oh, that is too late. And then I asked her, what do you mean by too late? Then she said that on Monday, I have an exam test on my school, and it's a very hard one, and I'm very stressed. So I need a meditation and yoga class, I thought, wow, people want like an immediate result. Let's say I need to be relaxed for something tomorrow. So today I look for some meditation, I do it, and tomorrow I'm fine. But we have to understand that the mind, as well as the body, work in a certain way. For example, imagine if I call and I will say, oh, do you have running practices tomorrow? I mean, Sunday. And I get the answer, no, we only have during the week. And I say, oh, I need tomorrow because I'm going to run a marathon on Monday. You know, the body will need to practice running for some time, let's say a month, maybe more, to get used to running so that one can run a long distance. In the same way is the mind. We cannot expect the mind to change from one day to the next. So the effect of meditation comes with practice. Think of it just like you are training. So the same way you train your body. So I want to train my body for swimming. I have to go swimming, start building up the muscles, practice more. Then after some time, my body is ready for swimming. In the same way, I want to have my mind developed to a certain state that I can keep some inner calmness or inner state of balance to face situations in my life. I need to do the meditation regularly. Not when I think, oh, tomorrow I will need it, so I do it today. I have to be doing it regularly. So the moment that I will need it, I have it. And it's not also that I can say that, oh, I did meditation for 10 years, so now I can not do for some time and I'm okay. It will be the same as saying that, yeah, I've been running regularly for 10 years, but now I can stay 1 year without running, that I'm okay. In that 1 year, you will lose your fitness. And if you want to start again, it will be another effort to come back, to bring your fitness back. So we have to look at meditation in the same way. And that's why we have to do it regularly. So that's something that gives us inner strength. The other thing that gives us inner strength is our mental attitude. And that comes from the question that you answered before. The obstacle came in my mind, and then I get anxious. That's a certain mental attitude. The obstacle came in my mind, and I got, let's say, that idea that, okay, this is a big moment, a big obstacle, but I have the strength to overcome it. I will work on it. So this is how our mental attitude can help when we are facing difficult situations. I added another point here, balanced diet. And I will elaborate a little bit more on these 4 points. Let me give you the 4th one that I put, physical health, to maintain physical health. And I chose these 4 points as the important points that can give us inner strength. And they can be developed in different layers, let's say, deeper or deeper. For example, even meditation. Meditation, there are different methods. So you can go for a deeper or a deeper method according to where you are in life. Even the mental attitude, that mental attitude that I have the strength, or there is an infinite source of strength that I can utilize. So the mental attitude also can vary. So let's look at these points individually. Meditation. Many people think to meditate, and many people do some meditation, but I would say that if you want the best result, you have to do it every day, twice, at least twice. I see meditation as, let's say, food for the mind. We have food for the body, we eat every day, and we don't usually eat only once a day. We eat more times a day. Let's say at least we eat twice a day, maybe generally 3 times a day. And there are some people who eat more times a day, but I would say that 3 times a day would be perfectly fine. For the meditation, twice a day. In the morning, first thing in the morning, and in the evening, let's say when you finish all your worldly responsibilities, maybe your job and your school or something that you've been doing, and now you are winding down at home, before you take your evening meal, you do another meditation. Even if these 2 meditations are short, it will be helpful. If you become regular with a short meditation, then you can increase it gradually, and that will help you to become established in the practice. The other thing about meditation is we have to use the right method. We have to apply the right method. So we need a very qualified teacher so that we can learn the right method, we can ask questions, clarify our questions so that we can meditate in a better way. Today, we live in an age of internet, and there is so much information out there. We need to filter a little bit the information and do, let's say, the minimum necessary, at least. So that was about meditation. There is so much to talk about meditation, but it's not the main subject today. And the subject is that you do it. Now, look for the best way, best method, best system that you can do it regularly and maintain your inner strength. And I think that's the best method to acquire inner strength. But as I mentioned, it's not an instant method, so you have to practice regularly so that you are mentally, let's say, mentally fit when you need it. Then the mental attitude. How to work on the mental attitude. I use yogic methods, and I recommend the yogic methods. And the first yogic method is called in Sanskrit niyama. And what is this niyama? I put here the definition as a physical psychic movement. So it is something that is in the physical environment. So you are, and it comes to your mind. Okay, so let me give you an example. One practice of niyama is contentment. Something happened in your life. Some obstacle came. And now it is outside, and now you are going to internalize it. So you can internalize it in a way that you think that, okay, this is something hard, but it's for the best. So you maintain contentment within you. You are feeling that this hard thing is happening in my life, but surely this is happening for the best. All right, so when you internalized the situation, you applied that idea. But it could be different. Something hard happened in your life, and then you say, oh no, again, oh, this problem, oh, I'm completely wiped out, I can't deal with that. That's another way that you internalize it. And that's not this practice of contentment. And it's a practice. In the beginning, you have to make an effort. Maybe this thing is happening and the first thing is like, oh, another big problem. And then you immediately say, no, this will be helpful to me. Okay, so you are practicing. With the practice, it will become a habit and eventually your nature, that when something like that happens, you immediately get that attitude that, okay, this is happening, but it's for the welfare. It's good for me. It's going to be good for me. So this is what is physical psychic movement. There are 5 methods or 5 practices in this niyama, which should cover most situations. You know, as in yoga, in this practice, we have to be minimalist so that we do the minimum necessary, because it could be so much, so we have to choose the minimum. So the minimum here is there are 5 practices or 5 ways that you can filter what is happening in the environment and how you internalize it. So that's working on mental attitude. The other is what we project from inside. So psycho means mental, is inside us, and then we send it to the physical world. So it emanates from our mind to the external world. And that is what is yama. Let's say one situation where I'm dealing with some person and I maybe feel some enmity with that person, and I think to harm that person. So it's that idea of harming is coming from inside my mind, then it comes out, and maybe I harm the person. So that will create a conflict. The conflict will reflect on me, and it will disturb my mental peace. Therefore, if I can work the idea before it comes out, let's say I feel, oh, this person is inimical, but I still think, okay, even though this person is not friendly to me, not necessarily I have to harm that person. So then I filter what comes out from my mind to the external world, therefore reducing conflict and keeping my mental attitude positively balanced. So that's the second method, second yogic method. Then we are talking about inner strength and harnessing our potential. And I added here the idea of what we eat, a balanced diet. Sometimes we underestimate the effect of food in ourselves, but food has a tremendous effect in our life. According to what you eat, you may feel energetic or not. You may feel, let's say, it may affect your mood. You know, the other day, we were having a collective meditation. And there were some kids, and they were really agitated. So after the collective meditation, we were talking. So we asked the parents, did you give chocolate to the kids today? And they said, yes, in fact, we gave. And they usually don't give chocolate to the children, but that day they had given. Then they thought, oh, you are asking because they were so agitated. We said, yes. So children are very sensitive. What they eat immediately express. Us adults, maybe we have more resistance or our body doesn't react so quickly, but it does affect our body according to what we eat. And maybe we think, oh, why am I reacting in this way? Maybe you are reacting this way because what you ate that day, how you ate, the time that you ate, the quantity. So all this affect our mind. So when we are facing a difficult situation, if we keep how we keep our balanced diet. Sometimes we read articles of people that when they are anxious, they eat a lot, they eat a lot of junk food and they want like a lot of sweet to compensate, but actually it's creating more harm. If they could maintain the diet, then they would face better the situation. We need to choose food that's good for the body and the mind. Sattvic food is a category of food that is always beneficial to our body and mind. And those are most of the vegetables and grains and beans, and lots of food are in that category. And we avoid food that's not good either to the body or to the mind, or to both sometimes. And that kind of food we need to avoid as much as possible. And once, one person told me that, but Dada, if I'm eating mostly this food that you call sattvic, but just sometimes a little bit of the other food, is that okay also? I said that, of course, minimizing other food and maximizing sattvic food is good, but the best is if you can be like 100%, you will get more benefit. But the person says, oh, but sometimes it's so difficult. I said, yes, it is difficult. It's an obstacle, but if you overcome it, you will get a lot of benefit. Like everything in our life, there are difficulties, but if we put some effort, it is possible to overcome. So that's about balanced diet. The other item that I put is physical health. Physical health is important. We don't need to think about having perfect health because this perfection is not possible. But we can think of having our health in a way that is not disturbing our life. Okay, I may have some problems, some different situations with my body, but I need to look for ways to manage it. And what's a good way to manage it is with yoga postures, asanas. For example, maybe I have back pain. So I want immediately to go to a therapist, get a massage, and I come out from the therapist and no back pain. Perfect, I'm all good again. It is not really, let's say, possible that therapists can help us, but there are causes. Maybe the cause was that I lift something very heavy. So yes, then I go to the therapist, he fixed the problem, so I become okay. Then in the future, I think, okay, I should not lift something so heavy. But in general, the problems come with time. They go developing slowly until it comes a point that it starts disturbing us. But if we maintain the practice of yoga postures, even if it's only 2, 3 postures twice a day, after you finish meditation, you are meditating twice a day. When you finish, you do 2, 3. If you have time, you can do more yoga postures. They will move your body in a certain way that will be good for the muscles, and it will be good for the glands and the internal organs. And you are doing a little bit every day, and that little bit helps. Sometimes we think that only if we do a lot, it will help, but it's not always like that. I saw an article a few days ago, was about an experiment. There were 2 twins, 2 men, they were identical twins, and they do all these experiments with health. So they did one that they have to exercise every day. One of them was exercising for 20 minutes. The other one was exercising for 40 minutes, double. And after, I think was about a month or more of doing this every day, they measured the fitness of both of them and their muscle development and everything. And they found out that was basically the same. So now you may think, oh, if I do yoga postures, I have to go to a class for 1.5 hours or 1 hour. No, even if you do a little bit, but you are doing it very regularly every day, it will have a tremendous effect. It will be the difference in effect between doing nothing and doing just a little bit, it will be a lot. Okay, so the yoga postures are really a good exercise, and they are not so difficult. You can, and you don't need to do them perfectly. You do as well as you can. And in our PLT, we have provided you with a very simple video. There are only 2 postures, massage and relaxation, that you can do. And if you do those regularly, it will be a big change. And then when you are used to it, you eventually want to add one more or to do some variations. That will come automatically. All right, so that was the presentation. So I worked on these 4 points. Let me go back here to the 4 points. Meditation, mental attitude, balanced diet, and physical health. If you can work on those 4, I think you will get the necessary inner strength. When some difficulty comes, you can face it. Okay, so now go ahead here. I have one last question here. Oh, already people are answering. The question is, what stresses you the most in your life when you have some, what kind of obstacle? Is it the obstacles within yourself? Is it the obstacles at home, like with your family, with your partner? Or is it obstacles that when you go outside, you have your work or your school? Which one of these obstacles has more effect on you? So I will give you a few moments to answer this one. You can use that link, which is in the chat. Okay, we got 5 answers. And it seems that the obstacles within ourselves are the most difficult ones. Second, the home, and third, the work. And that makes sense because what is closest? The closest is what is within us. Then what is in our home? And then finally, what is outside? So if we work within us with the meditation, with the practices that we talked about, that will reduce your stress a lot. It will make you able to face whatever comes. Because we don't know what's going to come in our life. So we have to have our mind ready, and then whatever comes, we can face. If we knew, we could prepare for that particular situation. But we don't know. So we need to do something that prepares us for all situations. And that's making ourselves strong inside. And if you do it and you experience it, it's also good that you share it with other people. Make them understand that it's something that every human being needs. There are some people who don't feel they need to meditate because maybe in their life, they are not facing a big challenge. It's like somebody feels, oh, I don't need to be physically fit because, I don't have to run, I don't have to work hard like that. So I don't need. I can just sit in the sofa and watch a TV and like that. But one day, when they will need it, they will not be ready. And the meditation is the same way. People say, no, I'm relaxed. I don't need to meditation. My life is okay. I can manage it. Why do I need to meditate? They will only feel the need in the moment of crisis. And in that moment, they cannot have the strength to face it. They will be in problem. So it's good to be always prepared. And finally, I want to give you this question. And I think now it's time for our breakout room discussion. So I had another question for the breakout room, but I will leave this question in the breakout room for you. Hey, welcome back to the main session. Okay, I think now everybody's here, so welcome back to everybody. You can always share what you heard or what you said in the breakout rooms with using the Mentimeter here. I will share here. Okay, you can always share there what something either you said or you heard that you felt, oh, that's very interesting. So if you share here, we'll have this record we can share with other people in the future, so it will be nice. If you want also to express it using the microphone, you are welcome to do that. And we have a few minutes for this part. And we can also, if you have questions from what was presented today, you can also ask your questions. So you can ask questions either by typing in the chat or by, even if you want to type here on the screen, or if you want to ask a question using the microphone, you are welcome. Okay, so what we have here already on the screen is, don't wallow or obsess over the obstacle. Yeah, the more you think about it, the more it becomes a problem. So if we then give yourself space and time. Yeah, sometimes we think something's super urgent, but if we just delay a little bit, it becomes easier to deal with. Help yourself and the heaven will help you. Yes, that's one of those, I think I went in and out from the discussion rooms and I overheard some of the comments. And one was that there is a fine line between accepting what happens, let's say surrendering, and between deciding what is within our action to do, So we should always utilize maximum our capacity and then rely on what's extra will come to us. Then meditate. You would, suggest one of the tips to your friend, do meditation. Or just listen to those obstacles. Or remember that you are not alone. Sometimes we think everything is within our control, but there is some higher intelligence, higher mind that has a little bit more control than us. Listening actively. Yes, if a friend has a big problem, comes to you, you can listen to them. That will also give them a next way of bringing it out, understanding better the problem. Look straight at the obstacle and analyze it. Yeah, the initial tendencies try to avoid it, but sometimes cannot be avoided. So better we look at it and see how we resolve it. I think all these tips are good. Be open to the universe. The answers are always there. And try and let go of the results. This shall pass. Yes. Okay. And once I heard something very interesting was like something like this, that the most difficult things in your life never happened. It means we imagine it, that, we make it so big, but we create it in our mind, but in reality, it's not really existing. Okay, so that was it. And then there's the time for Q&A, but we can move to our song. We always keep some time during our presentations for a song. Music elevates the mind, gives us inspiration. So we chose a song for you today, which it's a video. So we'll put the words in the chat window so you can follow along. And the words are also on the screen. So that's the song.
There is nothing wrong when you sing this song. Baba Namo Kevalam. If you're feeling blue, or when the sky is gray, makes everything okay. At the blush of the morning light, or in the middle of the night, if your skin is dark or light, sing this song. Baba Namo Kevalam. If you're feeling blue, or when the sky is gray, it makes everything okay. At the blush of the morning light, or in the middle of the night, if your skin is dark or light, when there is no time to play, be it hot or a frozen day, in November, March or May, Bhavanam Kevalam. Baba Namo Kevalam. Bhavanam Kevalam. Baba Namo Kevalam. Baba Namo Kevalam. Baba Namo Kevalam.